So thank you to everybody who is here and who's joined, or whoever is watching this on playback. We've mentioned on the previous AMAs that we are actually a team of software developers. That's what we do as our jobs, our normal jobs in the real world. One of the ways of working that a lot of software teams follow is to work in sprints. And a sprint is basically working for a set period, normally 2 weeks, trying to identify a goal for that 2 weeks and then trying to deliver on that goal. And that's exactly how we're working within the WebReward team. So this is our end of sprint, and a new one will start tomorrow. And one of the other key things that happens at the end of a sprint is a sprint demo. And the sprint demo really says, look, this is what we've worked on over the last 2 weeks. This is the progress we've made. And then typically we look to try and push that live. So we're not live at the moment, but we might have something that people can start to play around with. So if you have any questions on the kind of the sprints philosophy, how we develop, any of those things, or anything that my mate Chris is going to show you in a second, then please shout. And on that note, I'll hand over, Mr. Chris.
Cool. So I think we've been talking about the tipper for a number of weeks now. It's sort of our flagship utility and the number one utility that we're going to launch with. But the tipper is now at a state where it's ready to kind of demonstrate that to you, how that would work or look in the real world. So I'm going to start off by describing a sort of a simple use case, and then I'll follow it through and show you how the tipper fits into it. So Chris Mim is a aspiring Twitter head who wishes to post tweets and provide some value to people via the tweets he follows. Obviously, Chris Mim is me, but Chris Mim is also the subject in this little demo. So if I share my screen, I'll show you what that might look like. Right, so can you guys see my Twitter profile?
Yep.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
so I've got my Twitter profile, I make a bunch of tweets, and hopefully I provide some value to the world. Obviously in real life that isn't true, I just shit post, but I've decided to create my own tipper link because I'd like to receive donations from anyone who who feels that I've sort of contributed to them or helped them in some way. So as you can see in my Twitter bio, aside from my regular bio, I've now got a tipper link, and this is a custom link that's specific to me that I've created. I've created it for the name Joe Blogs because just to illustrate that it's not me tipping myself. But yeah, so I've got a really simple link in my Twitter bio, and as a donator, I can simply click on it and I'm taken to the tipper. So this is kind of to illustrate the point that we've been trying to make over the past few weeks, and that you simply place this link on your Twitter profile, on your YouTube video description, whatever it might be. You click on a link and it takes you straight to the tipper and basically makes it as easy as possible to donate to WebReward. So as you can see, I've clicked on Joe Blogs' tipper link, and it shows its name here, Tip Joe Blogs. I can show send Joe Blogs a tip, for example. And then I've got 4 simple steps that I need to follow, basically, just to send them a tip. So first, I have to connect my wallet, and anyone familiar with sort of interacting with DeFi platforms will be familiar with this step. It's pretty simple. In this case, it pops up my MetaMask wallet, and I'm going to connect my demo donor account that has some WebReward in it. Cool. So to show you this MetaMask account, I've currently got some tokens which are loading. Bear with. Testnet can be slow at this time of day. But yeah, basically, I've currently got 29,200 WebReward. And I want to donate some of that to Joe Blogs. And if we look at the demo recipient, which is Joe Blogs' account, he's currently got 0. So we should see that when I decide to send him some money, his amount of WebReward basically increases. So back to the demo donor. I've connected my wallet. I've chosen my currency. By default, that's WebReward because we're launching with WebReward-based donations. And then I feel like I'm going to be quite generous today, so I want to donate 5,000 WebReward coin to him. As you can see, it's auto-populated the button with 5,000 WebReward. And all I've got to do now is click the button, wait for the pop-up to appear, approve the transaction. And now we wait just while this loads. Keep in mind that any sort of interactions and transactions tend to be a bit slower on testnet, so we expect to see better performance on mainnet. But this should take a couple of seconds, and then as soon as it's confirmed, I will show you the results. There we go. So I've tipped Joe Bloggs 5,000 WebReward. The loading spin is gone. I can tip him 5,000 again if I want, but for the sake of this demo, I'm just going to show you the results. So I have sent 5,000 WebReward just now, and my balance has gone down as soon as the token balance loads. There you go. So I've reduced 5,000 WebReward, and if I log in as Joe Bloggs' wallet, you can see that I've now got 4,500 WebReward. And the reason why it's 500 less is because we've taken the 10% rewards and buyback and burn and liquidity and contributor fees from that transaction. And yeah, it's as simple as that, basically. In the span, obviously, it's been a bit slower because I've been explaining things. But it really is as simple as connect your wallet, follow the 4 steps that are in front of you, and there you have it, basically. I haven't had to scan any QR codes or enter any addresses or copy any addresses or double check them or anything. I've just clicked a couple of buttons and I've managed to make a donation. So that is kind of the Tipper MVP. We're looking to improve these things and build up upon things like the links, and also just some general UI improvements and bug fixes over the next few months. But yeah, does anyone have any questions on that?
Not exactly a question, just a quick note. I have been playing with the Tipper over the weekend, and just a quick reminder to everyone, it's not going to be like that during launch. It's not a V1 yet, it's version 0. Currently, it's only a test, just to start getting initial feedback from you guys. So yeah, expect it to be a little bit better than that. So links that you will be creating currently, obviously, are not easy to remember, but they will be eventually. Just something to keep in mind. Yeah. So I guess that's a good segue into the next part of this. So basically, what we want to do, given that the Tipper is now in a beta version that's sort of ready to be tested, is we want to invite you guys, our community, to actually try this out for yourselves. And give us some feedback, give us some ideas, because at the end of the day, this is your product as much as it is our product. So this is a beta version. This is a pre-V1 version of the utility. It's currently deployed to Testnet. Now, if you're familiar with Testnet, that's great. If you're not, we've produced a guide which you can use to get set up on Testnet. It's basically a blockchain which is the same as the Binance Smart Chain, except it doesn't use real money. So developers use it a lot for testing. You might have come across the term, you might not have, but you'll basically be able to test this out for yourselves. So as I said before, one of the things we're going to be doing over the next 2 weeks in the next sprint is picking up tickets for improvements and bug fixes that you guys find as well as we find. And as Alex correctly pointed out, when we launch, this is going to look a bit more like tipper.webreward.net/Chris or /tip/Chris, tip/Chris or Chris Mim. So the links will be much more memorable. But this is obviously a beta version of the software. So you guys are getting some really early access to it. And hopefully you guys like it as much as we do, because I actually I'm pretty excited about being able to send people stuff pretty easily. So yeah, I'm going to stop talking now and sort of leave the room open for a couple of questions if anyone's got. Or
I think one thing just to follow up on as well is using the smart contracts that we have developed. So we're just fine tuning that contract before it goes off for audit. So again, not only will you be able to test the tipper, but it will also be testing the smart contract behind the scenes as well. So all of that is effectively developed. And when we talked about sprints at the very beginning of this session, we've basically got 4 more sprints left, so almost 8 weeks before we go live. So like Chris was saying, a lot of the focus from here will be around actually building out those URLs. So we're going to try and get to a point where ideally somebody can go in and start to build out their own URL and manage that themselves. So people will actually be able to go in and create a URL and put it onto Twitter without having to involve the team and start receiving tips. So that's the aim for when we go live. But yeah, any questions?
Just one simple question. Why should people choose to get on board and use the link you provide and use WebReward coin actually for tipping?
So there's two angles to that really. So first of all, one of the reasons why we're building this utility in the first place is to make it a lot easier for people to donate via crypto, because currently in a lot of ways it's quite difficult, especially to users who aren't very familiar with it. So for example, like currently one of the easiest ways to get people to send you crypto is to do it via a QR code. But even so, that's not particularly simple for someone who doesn't know what that QR code is supposed to do and how to use it. So the first angle is to make it easier for people to receive crypto donations as an additional income stream on top of what, their ad revenue or whatever they might receive as a content creator. And then the second angle, I guess, why it ties into WebReward coin is when a content creator receives donations in WebReward, they'll be receiving rewards on top of any earnings that they have made via us. So I guess there's a bit of a financial incentive there for content creators. There is a third side to this as well, in that YouTube and Twitch and similar sort of content creation platforms often charge really high fees for taking donations. So a good example is YouTube Super Chats, which take 30% off they take a 30% cut basically of any donations that they receive via Super Chats or similar. So we make it a bit cheaper for them as well. So I guess all 3 of those things combine to create some value towards the content creator, on top of the fact that it's basically free to get set up. So from a content creator's perspective, I guess it's even aside from the other 3 things, it's sort of like a why not, the potential extra income stream. Do you have anything to add to that, Stockers?
Yeah, so in the future, because I have a crystal ball and I can see into the future, the WebReward coin will actually be hidden a lot more behind the scenes. So obviously we can't develop the entire platform that we want to have before we go live. And even after we've gone live, there's so many features that we want to add in. But the aim is that WebReward coin will kind of work behind the scenes so people can choose whether they use that as their payment option. So in the future, we envisage somebody who's just a kind of standard crypto user, buys Ethereum, buys Bitcoin, being able to pay and tip with those as well. And behind the scenes, we'll do any conversions that need to happen. So what you're seeing is a very raw first version that supports our coin, and we can build that and we can make that happen. But again, we've made no kind of secret of the fact that when you go to that tipper window in the future, it is likely to have pay with credit card or pay with other kinds of coins as well.
Okay, cool. Thanks for the explanation. That would have been my next question. If you will have the opportunity to tip in any cryptocurrency you want, why should you buy WebReward coin then?
So one of the reasons at the moment is if we, for example, one of our initial versions of this, so this is obviously pre-launch version. Version 1 is WebReward coin exclusively. The following sort of iterations of this is that even if a content creator chooses to get paid in BUSD or BNB or whatever cryptocurrency there is available to them and that they choose, that's converted to WebReward behind the scenes. And there's two reasons for that. Again, one of the reasons is to incentivize the people to actually receive these donations in a single currency, which is WebReward coin, because they'll basically receive passive income on top of the donations that they've received already. So for the content creators, there is an incentive there with WebReward that there might not be with something like BUSD, that their earnings can grow over time. And the other is because our utilities are designed around WebReward coin, and we need transactions in WebReward to basically to generate volume for the coin itself. So even though a user might pay in BUSD, behind the scenes we buy WebReward coin, and that obviously drives our rewards program for all holders of WebReward, but especially the content creators who might need an incentive to use our platform. So yeah, there's sort of a twofold reason. Does that sort of answer your question?
Yeah, cool. So if I want to tip you, for example, on Twitter, and I only have Bitcoin and I want to give you some Bitcoin, then the system swaps my Bitcoin into VRC, gives the reflection and the utility and the volume, everything. And at the end, you will receive WebReward coin, right?
Yeah, so that's the next version on top of what we're starting with, basically. So we aim to eventually get to a point where that might even be that the end user might receive something that isn't WebReward coins. They might want to receive dollars on the other hand, because one of our aims, I guess, is to eventually build this out to become a payment platform that's accessible to people who aren't even aware of the fact that it's a crypto system. Or a crypto payment platform, rather. So, your plumber might send you an invoice, and you might choose to pay that in crypto, but the plumber might want to receive it in dollars or pounds or whatever it might be. So as we develop this and as we build up the system, we want to basically make it completely abstract of the fact that it is WebReward, while at the same time funding the token and driving up the value of the token, as well as obviously rewarding our holders who have helped us as a community to sort of build up this project from scratch. If that makes sense.
But yeah, but
and I think there's a couple of other things as well. So if we didn't use WebReward coin behind the scenes, we would have to choose something else, and we would have no control over that. And everybody on this call knows how volatile coins can be and sometimes disappear. And we wouldn't want to be in bed with a coin that suddenly vanished, because obviously we would have severe problems as well. So we're kind of masters of our own destiny by having our own coin.
Yeah, so everything, even if the end receiver wants to have it in US dollar or euro or something, everything goes through the process of going from crypto to WebReward coin to the end, whatever the one who receives the donation gets.
Yes.
So WebReward coin is the swap, let's say.
Yeah, WebReward coin is to begin with the end result, and in the future the intermediary potentially. If obviously we hope people will want to receive their payments in WebReward, because there's less swaps, there's less transaction fees, and obviously their investment will grow over time, because we're aiming to make this project grow over time and for WebReward's value to go up. But yeah, that's basically sort of where we're trying to end up with it.
Okay, thank you.
Cool. Yeah, thanks for the question. I think we have a candidate for hardest question. Yeah. Anyone else got any questions about the utility?
Yeah.
Hey guys, what's up? What's up? All the way from Jamaica. I don't know what time it is in your neck of the woods, but it's midday here.
Nice.
Guys, I just want you to know that this is an amazing project. This is an amazing project. I'm blown away. The URL idea is just fantastic, and I'm looking forward to a successful launch and a successful company, by extension. And I think that you guys are just going to do exceptionally well in this space. It's different. I like the transparency of the team. Another thing that I found mind blowing just now is that you guys are actually giving us the opportunity to try it, and I like that, because you then become familiar with the project and the utility long before it's even launched. So you have a better chance of explaining it to someone who wants to get in the project. You could even send them the demo for them to try for themselves, and it's powerful. I really respect the maturity of the team. I love how you've handled this presentation. I love how you've answered the questions. It's really good. It's an A+ thing for me, guys, and I'm super excited. Like I literally can't wait for this thing to launch, because it's going to be big. And I think that, marketing will have to really, pull their socks up, because if we sell this the right way, we can literally have every single person from YouTube be over there. I just want to know if we're going to have a stable coin. I think ultimately pegged to whatever, I don't know, GBP or the US dollar or whatever. But if you guys are thinking about that, I mean, then that eliminates, the big process of, having the user trying to reach the end user, going through too many hoops. I think it would be ideal, if they have a stable coin and boom, from me to you, and then you just fiat and out, or whatever it is. But I love it. It's beautiful. Whatever you guys are doing in the back, I'm just here. I'm a cheerleader. Love it, love it, love it. Beautiful project, different idea, different concept, and I'm gonna bring in all my friends into this. All right.
Yes, mate.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Sounds
appreciate
good.
it. Yeah, I mean, this
Does anybody else want to lavish us with praise?
Yeah, well, I appreciate that, mate. I'm glad you're excited. We're excited. I mean, we sort of just over the weekend, we did our first sort of end-to-end donations in a sense. So I generated a link, Andrew generated a link, and we sort of sent a tip to each other. And it was actually, sort of seeing it starting to come together, even though it's an early version, is pretty cool. Just to reiterate as well on the early release and the beta thing, but we're doing this very intentionally, and it's not just to create hype or to create excitement, which obviously we hope it does, because it's bloody exciting stuff. I think one thing that's really common in software is when you sort of launch a massive product and you launch it at the very end, and at the very end, at the launch, is when people first get to use it and see it. There's often a very big gap between what people expect and what they get, either just because they had other visions of it in their mind, or they were expecting some things that weren't there, or they're not expecting some things that were there. And so one of our reasons for doing this really early is for all of you to actually try this out. So over the next week, we're going to really encourage you all to give this a go, put it in your Twitter bio or send it to each other on the community, and actually start tipping each other. We've built some facilities for basically, we've built a faucet so that you'll be able to claim your very own sort of stash of WebReward on Testnet. Keep in mind, there is no financial value of that. It's Testnet. And you'll be able to interact with it as if it is sort of in the real world. So we're going to get everyone to try and, create your own tip link, tip each other. And we want to sort of see that happening over the next week. And again, because this is a WebReward project and everyone owns WebReward, we want your feedback as well on what you sort of think might be a good idea, what's a bad idea, have we done something well, have we done something badly, do we need to sort of change course? We want to know all of that feedback. So exciting times. To answer your question about stablecoin, which I haven't forgotten, it's not something that we've discussed yet.
as a team. We can have a chat about it, and it might be a potential avenue in the future if that sort of benefits things in terms of swapping and transaction fees and all of that. But I can definitely take it back to the team, and we'll get back to you on that.
Well, that sounds great. I think I gave you guys a golden nugget just now. I should get some WebReward coins for that. But I think it's going to be a beautiful idea. I mean, we all know that Y5 is one of those great ideas in this space now, and they too have their stablecoins and stuff. And honestly, that's where the idea came from. I'm like, this is also a great project, and I think you guys are going to have a lot of people coming on this project, a lot of people, and I think that a stablecoin for what you're planning on doing would be ideal. A dollar value token from WebReward, and I think you guys can accomplish it. If you can accomplish what you have accomplished already, yeah, trust me, I wouldn't be surprised if you all have Euro stablecoin, GBP stablecoin, all kind of currency stablecoins, man. I love it, man. I'm really, really excited, and I'm happy I'm a part of this project, and I'm looking forward to, launch. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, mate.
Cool.
Another thing is, hey, my name is Matt. Cheers for that. I appreciate it, man. Hey, I had a problem with link opening in mobile, as I mentioned to you, Chris, and on Edge on PC. So basically, for me personally, it only opens in Chrome on my laptop. Have we got any update on that, or?
Yeah. So the version is designed to work with MetaMask on Chrome or Brave or Chromium-based browser, and that's just because it's a beta version. It does work. I just I demoed it on Brave. So yeah, the reason why is because the testnet is, well, at least this interaction with testnet is designed to be used by wallets that have a Chrome extension or a Brave extension, I guess. So that's all in the instructions. But one of the reasons why we've done it that way is because although some people don't like MetaMask, it is the Marmite of wallets. It is the easiest one to set up and connect to testnet applications that I found. So basically, we've designed the beta version, the early version around using MetaMask, and we're going to send out some instructions that are specific to MetaMask as well. So yeah, keep in mind this is early pre-release software. In fact, this is not live yet. So they're going to be some things that come up over the next 8 weeks. As Stock has mentioned, we've still got a long way to go to launch. So if you spot anything, or if something's not right, like you don't see it appear on a certain browser like Edge or something, please flag it up to us, and we'll factor that into our following sprints. So we're going to be kicking off the next sprint today. We're going to have a look at all the high priority issues that have been raised. We're going to have a look at some future features that we might need to put in. And that will implement those. But yeah, I suspect the reason why you wouldn't have seen it on Brave was because you didn't have MetaMask or Coinbase Wallet or similar. But if it still doesn't work with that, then we can run through it as well separately.
So one of the great things about being able to give everybody a link and get people to play with this and build the excitement is because it is exactly that. It's exciting. From our point of view, it's also a great way to get free testing on lots of different browsers, people who work differently. So it kind of works both ways. And there's kind of something in it for everything. But yeah, if you think you've seen something that's strange or something that you maybe weren't expecting or something that doesn't work, then the best thing you can do to us is say, I've tried this on this browser or on my phone or on my Apple Mac or whatever it is, and this is what I saw, and ideally something like a screenshot of what you saw, and that's like gold dust to us because we can really try and recreate that and understand what's going on. So a little tip on how to be a great tester there. Yeah. Any more questions from the crowd? Or is it just stunned silence? Or not enough coffee?
Definitely not enough coffee, mate.
I'm done for now. I have a question, but it's not regarding WebReward coin. It's just it was mentioned to use a stable coin. What is the positive thing about using a stable coin?
Well, I don't have the answer to that question because we haven't looked at it yet. Who asked that question before? I think Money Magnet. You had something about that.
I think the main thing with the stable coin, it doesn't jump up and down like the rest of the crypto. It's pretty much tailored take to euro, US dollar, etc. Just much more convenient. If you pay $100, you're gonna get $100. Versus the crypto, you can pay $100 and get it in bloody 50 or 200. But that's only my take on it. I'm not actually 100% to be honest. So yep, Money Magnet, the floor is yours, mate.
I think the key thing is from the WebReward side, we can explore all these possibilities. So we're aiming to get to a position where we can have almost any kind of monetary currency coming in and going out, and the internals of the WebReward platform convert from what's coming in to what's going out. So if stable coins look like they might be a good addition into the platform, then we'll obviously look at that, and it will go on to our backlog, which is the priority of work that we have, and we'll rate that against other features. So it's something we'll consider and come back to the community on as well.
Yeah, and please don't send a link to my triplets.
Maybe that's what we should do. We should send them testnet links, and they can think they're getting money, and actually they're not.
Yeah, I mean, are they? Because children are particularly good at testing websites because they just press random keys, right? And that's one of the easiest ways to break a website. Because when you develop, or while you're developing something, especially UI, you have a very specific idea of how it's going to be used because I guess you're the one building it. But then someone else comes along and usually will break it in like 2 seconds. And that's just because everyone sort of has a slightly different way of working, and it might just be 1 or 2 clicks that you sort of do different, and it throws everything out. So, if you want to give your kids give it to them to test and see if they can break it, then I'm all for it. Maybe we can get them a whitelist spot, I don't know if they know what that is yet, but they might appreciate it.
Yeah, another thing, I'm actually not 100% sure how MetaMask works. I never properly used it. I never liked it to start with. But I know that for our test, it will not show the incoming transactions on history, just the outgoing. You can check the incoming through the BSC scan, so that's not a problem. I did have a problem with one thing in particular, which I won't mention to give anyone idea. But just wanted to let you know, guys, watch out the first couple of transactions and let us know if there is anything wrong there. It might have been just a bug for me, one of a kind, or it might be a testnet bug, or there might be something that, we didn't quite get, so to speak. So yeah.
Yeah, so there is, just sorry, to note on that, that's one of the reasons why, so if you notice anything weird or you spot any bugs or whatever, it's why ideally if it's a transaction related bug and you have a reference to that transaction, then please send it over. If you have a UI bug, please send a screenshot or explain how it happened if you remember, or when it happened or where it happened, because that will help us identify things like that really quickly. And say either, okay, there was a slight user error, we need to improve the user interface to prevent that from happening, or there's an error with the tipper and we need to address that. So yeah, so I mean, that's, I guess, a great example of an issue that Alex found. And he sort of sent us a message, described when it happened, that was his first couple of transactions, and we could basically take a look at that really quickly. So if you find anything, please give us as much detail as possible, and we'll be able to address it easier.
Sorry, Chris?
Yeah.
Yes. Is there like a group where if someone has an idea, is the team open for ideas? Like, let's say someone from the group has another idea or something that could, you guys could potentially look at to say, okay, yes, this sounds good, it can be added. Is there a group, or can we actually send ideas to the marketing team or to any of you guys? Or, I mean, just ideas. It doesn't mean that it's written in stone and it has to be taken. It's just an idea or a suggestion, or whatever. Because I think that if we all work together in this space, that it's like almost dog eat dog kind of space. I think that we can be more effective. Uh, I think we can be more successful if as a people, as a team, because I would want WebReward to work and you want it to work and we all want it to work. That's why we're there. You have some people who they just come, they just want launch day so they could just get a nice little pump and they cash out. For me, I'm a long-term holder. I like holding, I like believing in projects, and this, as again, is just another beauty. And I really want to make sure that this is done the right way. It's going fine. Now that it's done the wrong way. Don't get me wrong, but I just want to make sure that any suggestions we have that could maybe help to make it even more successful, we could pass it on. So if the team is open for suggestions and stuff like that, just let us know in the official chat where we could send our suggestions and stuff. And ultimately, yeah, we will just be a great community.
Yeah, man. Cool. I'll take it from here. The whole thing we actually promote since the early days is the WebReward family, where you guys are not just members, you're actually part of the team. So ideas, suggestions, criticism, anything you've got is highly encouraged to let us know. If you want to let us know in the general chat, go for it. If you want to DM any one of us, whether it's one of the mods or one of the devs, go hard, mate.
Awesome. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Just DM whoever you think is the coolest person, and I will answer.
Hunter. Definitely Crypto Hunter. That's my boy.
Because, so that's the thing, we already had a few DMs before with some concerns, some praise, etc. And, concerns help us see where we might be lacking, so we can work on it. And anything else helps us to understand that we're on the right track. So yeah, man, don't hold back.
A lot of software development teams build software at users rather than with them, and the ones that are successful build software with them, because developers, even though they think they do, don't they, Chris? Don't they, Vlad? Always think they know the right answer. And when you get as old as I am, you realise that you don't actually always know the right answer, and actually the end users do. So the whole way we work, the whole raison d'etre of the team, is to work as closely as we can with our family. That's the whole purpose behind it. And I know it's easy to say, but it is genuinely how we want to work and how we want to see these things work. Because if we work like that, we build the best product we can do. And if we build the best product we can do, then everybody does well out of this project.
Awesome. Thank you.
Can I jump in with another question, please?
Of course.
Okay. If I tip and it's swapping my crypto into VRC, is there a tax? And if yes, then how much percentage is this tax going to be?
Mm-hmm. So the tax is 10%, the same as, so WebReward has a standard buy-sell tax of 10%. And our utilities, such as the tipper, don't charge any fees on top. So so basically, part of the way the rewards are generated via volume is if you paid in the US dollar, we'd convert to WebReward, which takes a 10% tax and then forwards it on to the recipient. The recipient, basically. So 10% standard on buy, sell, and transfer. And
so if the recipient wants to have, again, I don't know, another crypto, VRC has to be changed again into the crypto he wants. So there's another 10% tax on that as well, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
so
I mean,
it's 20% tax per transaction. That's a lot.
Yeah, I mean, so that's obviously, we're still at the very early stages with this utility. So one of the, we've previously discussed that we don't want to double tax users on conversion regardless. So we would be looking at ways in terms of how we can stop that from happening. Because yeah, obviously we don't necessarily want to give users a big penalty just for basically using it, because 20%, like you said rightly, is quite a lot. So it's more of a technical question of how we get to do that once we do it. But at least for version 1, that's going to be a 10% tax on transfers.
Okay, I think the tax thing is okay, because if you tip, you don't know what you get if you're a streamer or something. But in real life, if you do a job, like you mentioned the example of a plumber or something, and you charge, I don't know, 150, and you pay a 150, but at the end of the day, he's getting 135 or even 120. I don't think that will work very well, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, that's first. Yeah, so first of all, like I said, one of the things we don't want to do is double tax them because of the logistics of the smart contract, because we've made it pretty clear as into what the 10% tax is. So one of the motivations we had when we first looked at this was, or first determined the tax rate, was how can we have a low enough tax rate that we beat the competitors in our initial space. So that's YouTube, that's Twitch, I guess for content creation. Keep it low enough such that we can beat those guys out, but also high enough so that the rewards are meaningful. Because of things like, we want to encourage people to buy and hold WebReward. That's one of the sort of driving forces of this project. So we arrived at 10% as an initial value because it kind of did the job for content creators. As we go, if we determine that, for example, we can't access a certain market, whether it's real life transactions or something like that, because the transaction fees are too high, then we might need to reevaluate and say, okay, well, if we remove, let's say we reduce the transaction fees by 2%, I know that's just a complete for instance, that's, if we do our maths, that's like 1/5, right? But we get 1/5 extra volume because we've taken the market. We've taken extra market share on, basically, whether it's for sort of real life transactions, plumbers, services and goods, whatever, then it might work out. It might work out the same. Everyone gets the same amount of rewards, even though we've managed to lower our fees or potentially increase our fees for whatever reason. And we've gained more market share out of that. So it's one of those things that before we do anything like that, that's something that would need to be agreed by the community and potentially voted on formally. But that is available to us if we find that the structure is limiting our project, basically. Do you have anything to add to that, Stockers?
No, I think it's exactly right. The key thing is we have that flexibility. We've talked about other markets where we might want to make it a much lower tax. So, for example, if we look at moving into the charity space and charity donations, we obviously wouldn't want to be taking a large tax percentage away from charities. So that might be another area where we change taxing rules. So I think the key thing is the aim is always, the way we're working is to get software live as quickly as possible and then gather that feedback and understand what to do next, take questions back to the community, take questions from the community and build, grow and move forwards. So we don't have all the answers yet, but what we do have is the ability to change and adapt quickly. And that means that we can kind of manage the project very closely and understand what is working and what isn't working. And again, like Chris said, if we know we could actually reduce taxes because we take a greater volume, then that might be a choice we make as we move forward anyway, regardless of the double taxing. we might start to bring the tax down because we're increasing market share, increasing numbers of transactions, and actually everybody's still getting really good reflections because we're growing the market and the visibility.
Will the investors be included in this voting once WebReward coin is launched?
Always, mate.
Yeah,
when we've got anything major, we always ask the community the opinion, mate. We work with the community.
Yeah, I mean, I think what I hope it's kind of evident already for those of you who've been here for a bit longer. For those of you who've sort of arrived recently, a huge number of our major decisions so far have been put to the community, and I guess made by the community in a way. And that's kind of the mentality that we plan to carry forward. Because at the end of the day, it's the investors who make this project what it is. And so we want to involve you guys in those decisions as well.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. Cool. Any other questions, comments, concerns? I'm going to take that as a no. Well, if you have any other questions and you haven't got the chance to ask it here, or you just remember something or think of something after this is fine, or after this is done, sorry, our chat is always open. Our inbox is always open to answer any questions that you might have. So please don't be shy and sort of bottle it up if you've got any concerns or questions, because we want to sort of answer those for you as quickly as possible. And then to round off, I think, Alex, we have some decisions to make, don't we, for whitelist spots? Is he there? Anyway, I am going to say, and I think Stockers will agree with me in that Pat gets well, let's find out, I guess. I think Pat's definitely had some really good questions today. So if he doesn't already have one, I'd like to give him a whitelist spot.
Yeah, mate, sorry, I was actually talking to the phone and I completely forgot I was on mute. My bad.
Yeah, happens every time. We've been in, like, COVID has been around for like 3 years and we still haven't figured out how to use video software properly. But that's the way of the world. So finally, we've got, have we got a completely random choice as well?
That's up to you guys. Today, the 3 whitelist spots are up to the developers. Pat has now got 1, so don't forget to send me a wallet, mate.
Mm-hmm.
And next one is for most engagement, and 1 is completely random.
Cool. Okay, so complete random. What do you think, Stockers? I'll give you the next one.
I'm going to go for the 9th person on my list.
Ooh.
2, 3, 4, 5.
Money Magnet Quinn.
Yes, everybody gets the same list. It's not like Teams, is it, where it's completely random? There you go, Money Magnet Queen.
Congratulations.
That's my wife.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we figured it out, judging by the names, mate. Money Magnet Man and Money Magnet Quinn.
Thank you, guys. This is awesome.
There you go. And then for most engagement, I don't know, it's 50-50. I've got to flip a coin for this one, I think. Pat,
Between you
Pat's
and
really
Stockers.
good at this. Huh?
Between you and Stockers.
Yeah. Can't shut me up. We're going to flip a coin and we'll announce it shortly on the official channel. But yeah, thanks everyone for joining. Appreciate you guys all attending and having comments and feedback. This is the kind of stuff we really like because it gets us to sort of make changes and create a project that you guys are proud of as well as us. So admin stuff. In the next few hours, we're going to be sending out some instructions for how to get your MetaMask wallet set up on Testnet, how to claim your bunch of WebReward on Testnet, and how to tip each other and create a tipper link. So hopefully it should all be straightforward enough. If it isn't and you've got problems, please get in touch with one of us and we'll we'll help get you sorted on that. If there's anything missing from the instructions as well as the software, please let us know, and we'll get that sorted as well. So yeah, thanks everyone for joining. Any final words from Stockers?
No, thank you, everyone. Exactly.